listeners.
Yes. Guess what?
We're
live!
Greetings and salutations, everybody.
All you
How's
earth
that?
beings. There you go. Guess what, everybody? You got the Dork Table going on right here, right now. Over here on the RLM or RealLibertyMedia.com channel 3, which actually takes you to RLMradio.xyz. So, hey, if you ain't listening, this doesn't mean a shitting bit of thing to you.
Wow. How eloquently put, too, Miss Mary.
I know. That was so deep, wasn't it?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, keep going?
All right, next. Yeah. Don't stop now. You're on a roll.
Okay. Grimmy's not going to take no shit anymore because he's Grim. And sorry I missed your call last night, Grim. I didn't have Skype opened up on this computer, Grim Nerd. Oh, well.
So that's what they're calling it now.
Yeah, I know. So.
Okay, this isn't the apologize to Grim in through the radio show.
Well, it was just a little segment, just a short segment. In any case, y'all are listening to the Dork Table. Hey, Flasheroony Dork.
Hey, Miss Mary.
I see we have a deep dork vine. Wow.
I have my sharp pencil for the show tonight.
I don't know. I'm still trying to contemplate that whole deep dork vine. Is that like some kind of cosmic significance thingy or what? Yeah, well, in any case.
Deep dork Vinny, come on.
I know.
You don't know Vinny when he comes in? Please. If it's got a V in it, it's Vince.
Yeah.
Hey,
there you
Tennessee
go.
Vince. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Just remember, Vaseline and a lot of pants, pal, because you just might end up in the sticks. Ha ha ha.
Ba-doom, boom, boom. Okay. Over here on Fakey Book,
hey.
I see that we have the two Nancys are over here on Fakey Book. We have Ouida and we have Nancy from, I think she's up in Wisconsin. I don't think she's in Minnesota. I think she's in Wisconsin. Yeah.
Minnesota.
Ouida is in Missouri. I mean the Show Me State. So sweet. And I saw that Sock Puppet shared it over here in the Deliftics has a sister's wedding in 3 hours. Ugh. Weddings are weddings and funerals. I cry at both of them.
I don't know what elliptics means, but okay.
Deliftics.
Hey, Sock.
He's someone over here in Corner Pocket. Thank you, Sock, for sharing that over here. Truly appreciate it.
Fancy names that you can't say. Got it.
Well, they're there for a reason. He's the Shadow Dork. Who's the Shadow Dork? I don't know that I want to know. Shady character, eh? I thought we all were.
It's a Dork Table requirement to have at least been arrested in your life as a juvenile or an adult at least once.
Oh, I better leave.
There's always tomorrow, Mary. Hang around.
Wow, cool. Sweet. Okay, over on
an exemption.
Huh?
You're an exemption to my rule.
Oh well, I'm an exception to a lot of things.
That's what I heard. Hey, Asmo, what you doing?
Well, over here on FN, real quick, I see that Bob Renner is over here. And
hey, Bob Renner.
You were too. I'm over here, and Grimmy shared us over here. Thank you again, Grimmy, and thanks to
Grim.
Barman from FN and from RLM for tweeting us over there on that their Twitter place.
Yeah, tweet.
Tweedly-dee. Tweedly-dee-dee-dee.
The other word I use for tweet is wrong. Nobody likes it.
Vanna, I would like a different vowel.
Yeah. I'll take an X for 500, Johnny. I'd like to buy an X.
You want to buy an X? What are you going to do with them?
Gonna put Isn't an X a vowel? Oh, no, that's not a vowel. Never mind.
Oh.
Can anybody want to buy an X?
I've got one. Oh, Vincent is the shadow dork at Deep Dork Vine. Ooh,
Oh.
that sounds rather. Ooh,
Odd.
I like the Deep Doo-Doo Vine better.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, hey, Asmo, how you doing? Damn, usually I'm the one on the show that's using the shovel. Okay, it's your turn.
My turn.
We have shovel-ready jobs at the Dork Table.
Yes, we do.
Digging holes as we sit here. Okay. Hey, Asmo. How do we do this?
I have no freaking clue, but we're trained professionals. Don't try oh, wait. No, we're doing this from home. Oops. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I have a hairnet somewhere.
I'm
Okay.
still trying to get over the beanie with the smiley face. Okay.
Yeah, but my headphones didn't fit over it, so I had to take it off. Oh,
Right. Well, never.
yeah, whatever. Okay.
It was time ago. Way back, 5 minutes ago.
At least. Okay. I see Asmo's here. Hi, Asmo. How you
Hey,
doing,
Asmo.
missionary man?
Yep.
I also see Barman is up there, as well as the lovely Beth Z is here. Grim Nerd is here, as well as Grim Nerd. You know, try and say those two. Say those two 3 times fast. Grim Nerd, Grim Nerd, Grim
No.
Nerd, Grim Nerd.
No.
Okay. I sprained my tongue.
See? Told you. Don't do it.
Ouch.
It's a trap. It looks like fun now, but you'll be sorry tomorrow.
I know I'll be walking around with a... How do you do a
You don't
crutch
walk
on your
on
lip?
Tongue, Mary. Hey, trust number 1.
I trust no one. Oh, wait. Trust no one. Okay. I didn't even hit my nose when I did that. Booyah, that's 2 days in a row now.
Improvement.
Oh, no, bonus round. Chalcedony is here. Hi, Chalcedony.
Hi, that guy.
Yeah.
That name, it's hard for me to say. I don't know why.
Oh.
Okay, stop making me laugh. Hey, D, how you doing? Okay. Hey,
Hi.
you, how you doing?
Yeah, that was me and
Hey,
you.
Don.
Or you and me. Yeah, those two people.
Don and Don are here.
These dorkular people that are doing this shit. I also see IB Don C is here, as well as Java Doctor 2.
Don, hey,
And I actually happen to have a cup of Java.
Uh-huh.
I needed a little bit of a sip.
Oh,
Oh, that made it to where my tongue isn't quite so sprained. Figure that one out, folks.
There we go. My poor wife. What do you do to that woman with the radio? She's normally so nice. Okay.
I also see P. Bunyan is in the house, as well as
Bubba.
Rob Works. Where's that bubbler, Rob?
Works. No kidding. No
Did he
Bubba.
do the bubbler already, or did I?
don't. No, he's got his own show. So now, right before
Oh.
we're before him. So he's got technical shit to do, and he can't hang out with the dorks like he used to.
Oh.
So at least he's here in name. That's kind of comforting. I feel special.
Oh, hey, Grimmy says it's Happy Chinese New Year, the year of the rooster, also called the year of the cock. Ah.
Cool.
May you have many more.
Hey, wow. I don't want to be on the receiving end of this year. I want to be the giver, not the taker.
Ah, see how you are. Ah, but every time you
Hey.
give, you receive.
What do you see in your camera?
I see a blue field with stars and wavy red and white lines. Is that a
Okay,
snot
now you
rag?
want- Yeah. But
And-
can you read what it says here? Wait a minute.
It's made in where? Made in China.
So, irony at its freaking height. I'm American sitting in Denmark blowing my nose in an American thing made in China.
There you go. Whee! Okay.
I can't wait to see what happens when I burn this fucking thing.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm thinking over in Denmark, nobody's going to give a shit. Okay. Phantom! Hey, Phantom, how you doing, darling?
Phantom.
And Dakota is in the house.
Don't be so duh.
Day. As
There's
well,
Vinny again.
well, yeah, because, you know, that day. It was perfect timing for day, because there's Deep Dork Vine. It's a Deep Dork Vine.
Hello, honey. I'm gonna behave myself. I promise.
Hi, Dorkaline. I'll make him behave himself, and if I can't make him behave himself, well, shit, like that's gonna happen. Hans Dietrich is here. Hi, Hansel. It's Hansel. Hi, Hansel.
It's Hansel.
Hey, Hansel, we're on. We're picking on you. Holla Jehovah one.
37 PC at the corner of Smith and Jones.
Oh.
Engage now. Go, go, go.
Okay.
I know.
Do you want a
There's
dork?
more?
Yeah.
Hey, wanna.
Do you want a dork? Ooh, wow, that sounds naughty.
I am a dork. Oh, I don't know. Let me ask my wife about this one.
I also see Kozu is in the house as well as Bot. And Ninson Dubois and North Force 1 are just a wee bit back. You know, it's like they're away. But Kate is here, and Kate and Moosey are like the total trivia queens.
Queens, yeah.
Yeah.
And they know how to type and spell. I know all the answers, and I can't type or spell the ones I know right more than half the time. It just kills me. Or I'll write the right thing, spell it wrong, and somebody will fix it and beat me.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Hi, Rain.
Rain.
We've got Rain. Woo! I like Rain. I like Rain, too. So.
Hey, Sock.
Hi, Sock Puppet. How you doing, darling? I also see Slim Jim Flim is in the house. I'm so glad that's not Slim Jim Flim. But
wow.
I went there. That's where my mind went. So, and you know me, if it goes across my mind, it'll eventually fall out my mouth.
Somewhere.
I know. Vile _, is here, or Vil _, however you wish to say that. And finally, the mighty Woodman. Woody! Party!
Damn. You know, because we've been doing this so long with some of these people that, yeah, we just got our little, I don't know, dork things to say to them, I suppose.
Apparently, yeah. Vinny is doing lines out for chalking. Ah.
Oh, boy.
He must be feeling rather creative.
Oh, he's doing one of those the Urban Dictionary things again.
Yeah. Well,
is he trying to shock us here at the Dork Table with bizarre things?
Wow.
I don't think it's gonna.
Wow, Vinny, that's wow. I'll just leave it at that. Wow.
Hey, you know what? I wanted to bring up something to you right at the top here of the show, and you know we did this in less than 20 this time.
Holy crap!
Go figure.
I know.
We're slipping. Hey, you see these? Huh?
I see.
Look.
Paper. See this? See this?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good joke book.
You know it's got letters and lines on it, and when I look at it, it makes me think that I'm reading stuff, and wow, it's amazing. So I wrote some notes, for things to discuss here as a fellow dork. I thought I'd go all the way and actually use a pen. And it changed everything. So
wow, now you have squiggly lines too.
Uh-oh. I've got something happened to your voice. There it goes back.
Oh.
Are you back?
I'm here.
Yes. So, all right, now I'm not messing around. I'm serious. Serious. Okay.
Okay.
We all think we are right and reject opposition. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody that believes what they're saying is right is going to do that. So, why do we do what we do with the arguing? I'm not going to change your mind, and yours sure as hell not going to change my mind. So, why all the disagreements? If we already know this, like a bunch of grown-ups should, but no, we go right for the I can't stand being in the same fucking room as you, and it's all in type because of opinions. And I'm kind of, I'm at Mary. I'm going to need therapy here. We don't have those kind of doctors in the family. Those, no. And you know how I feel about those white people. They're just terrifying. So, did the question make any sense, though? All the screwing around aside?
Yeah. As in, why are we always
Okay.
sharing our opinion? Because we're not going to change anyone else's opinion? Is that pretty much the gist of it?
Yeah, I do it. You do it. They do it. We all do it. But it's done to a level of some kind of aggravation in some of us that I don't even want to look at the fucking guy's opinion anymore.
Well, I think we do that because we like to hear ourselves talk. And we figure that other people will pay closer attention to our opinion and maybe even adopt our opinion if we say it louder and more often.
Mm.
Could that maybe be it?
Well, okay, but no. It's a subjective, personal thing. How does it work with you? It doesn't work. I don't change my mind about anything. I mean, I've learned about as much crap as I'm interested enough to learn at the age I'm at. I don't want to sit around learning new shit. I'm an old guy. So I'm trying to make the best of what I already know, and crying out loud, that one wheel that squeaks always drags me down because they don't want to accept what's true. Because
Well,
it's not true to them. They cannot see it as a possibility. So we end up in a wheel of argument and it just goes nowhere. It's terrible.
that's when you just walk away from that squeaky wheel. It's like, I'm not going to lube you anymore, dude. I'm not going to grease you. You can just be over there and you can just squeak all you damn well please. I'm going to go over here where it's not quite so squeaky.
Mm. Wow. So your answer to life's problems is more lube.
Well, it's a
Wow.
start.
Well, at least you're not a feminist. So there you go. Anyway, have I got to ask you this too.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed when I look at government information or opinions on the internet about government, I come to the decision the other day that what the government is, what their intention is behind all the words is to confuse us with labels, global this and global that, that overall none of that has anything to do with you. But when you see that plane flying over, leaving shit behind you, behind it in the air now, I look at it and just go, fuck, what are these monkeys doing?
Mm. Hmm.
Did I not ask that in a sensible fashion? I guess not. I kind of trailed off on the end, but uh, they bamboozle us with we think we know a lot of stuff because we have links on the internet that they provided us so
Mm-hmm.
that when we look for the answer to a question, hey, there it is. Well, who do you think put it there? Why do
Yeah.
you think it's there?
Yeah, but you know
That's
what's
the
funny
decision
is
I
there are so many different links out there and
uh-huh.
so many different perspectives that you're bound to run across one that resonates with you.
Well, yeah, that's the point is you're going to look until you see something that makes your dick hard. It's the way I'd put it.
Oh.
And but what I still think is they confuse us with words like global, and it's intimidating. It makes you feel so, hey, wait a minute, global. And then I go walk outside and the only thing I ever see in my day that would connect me to global is an airplane flying over spraying shit.
Mm. See, and I've gotten to the point where every time I hear the word global, globular pops into my head, and it makes it sound kind of funny. And
Mm.
I know there's an awful lot of people out there that would say, "Oh, Grams, you got to take life seriously." Really? Why?
You-
I'm not
wow.
gonna get out alive. This meat suit is not
No.
going to be here forever. I
No.
personally, the what makes me me is
Mm.
going to move along and go into another whatever or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Last week you were in anger mode, so
today
I
I'm
tried to help you get. Yeah. Today you're back to crazy.
yeah.
But anyway, I think what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to make a point of, is the system that we're in uses this term global. And the average fucking Joe's never been out of the goddamn state he's born and raised in, or the country, or the village, or whatever. Not a lot of us travel, people. There's more people that don't travel than do. And I think they prey on them people and use that word global to make things feel or sound more important than they truly are. At levels that don't exist, and where they do exist, they don't talk about those things.
Sometimes I wonder if maybe they don't do that just to kind of as an intimidation thing, and yet that because they're all you got the two sides of the equation. You got, wow, it's a great big world, and what impact are you going to have? And then, wow, it's a
Yeah.
small world. Imagine that,
Yeah.
meeting up with someone from hometown, wherever, when you're
Mhm.
1,000 miles away, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow. So
Yeah. It's hap-
they make it sound like it's massive, huge, this big confusing thing that you just plain can't grasp, when actually it's very small. It's very infinitesimal. It's just kind of, wow, small world, cool. Because those are the little epiphanies that people have. When, like with talking with Circles, when she and I first started chatting years ago, and it
Mhm.
was, she's way over in Denmark, I'm way out here in the boonies of northwest Kansas, and yet small
Yeah.
world, because
Yeah.
we clicked on little
Mhm.
things. And they're trying to get you to focus on the great big confusing globular thing that's out there, when
Mhm.
actually you've got so many little things that you can click on that eventually become a really big connection. They
So
don't
that
want
goes
that.
to the misdirection theory I'm on.
Yes.
Yeah, misdirection. Because if you're looking at to the left, they can do shit behind your back you don't see.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mean by they use labels to get the public's attention. And I told you a couple weeks ago I broke down and became a Twitter twat. And it's not such a bad thing as I expected. So I'm finding quite a few interesting kind of characters on Twitter that I wouldn't run into in this little room that I like the best. Yeah, I like Grimm's room. I don't like a big crowd, but you got to take a lot in to find out what you like. You can't just go, well, I like that, and then not look at anything else. That's me. I don't just do the first thing I see. Well, I'm going to have that. No, I'll look at 10 and go, maybe there's an 11th that'll be better. But back to reality. So meanwhile, I don't know. My brain's all scattered, and I got all these great notes, things that cross my mind. And one other thing, Dork Table supports. I've made a big fucking deal about I'm boycotting gold till it's $35 an ounce. I am not going to ever buy me any Roundup. Don't like them there GMO foods in my system. But I've never said, hey, what am I for?
Oh.
An existing thing in life right now, today, that's happening. What am I for of that? And I thought it'd be interesting to talk about it.
Oh yeah, because it's really so much easier to work towards something than it is to fight against something.
I don't know. Sometimes I like a fight. See, we're human beings we're not in boxes and labeled like they tell you we are. No, we're all different and we're all crazy and anything's liable to fucking happen
Yeah.
at any given time of the day. But I was leaning towards more, what good stuff goes on in your day that, a normal, even a work day where you got the drudgery and you got to do it, but it pays the bills and you're going to go hang out with people you like and whatnot. And that, the good side of your life. But what would you tell me?
About the good side of my life?
Yeah, let's get off the negative for just a few minutes. We'll go back to negative and make people laugh in a bit. But, is there a good side to your day that comes to mind?
Yeah, I have a kitty cat sitting on my lap. I have Rascal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I'm just, or not Rascal, this is Doozer. And I'm just really, really glad because Doozer's like 17, she's going on 18 years old, and she's still frisky enough to put little Rascal, who is 2 years old, in her place. So, see?
Wow. Yeah. You got your daily. Okay. And then when you go to work and stuff, I mean, because like the other day, you said the dog couldn't make it through the yard, so you weren't going to drive in it.
Yeah.
Made perfect sense to me, but I heard you sounded like kind of guilty for using it as a reason to not go try not to kill yourself in a car.
Well, and I did kind of sort of, for like half a second, feel bad about not going in. Until when I
Yeah, I
had
heard
to
it in your
step
voice.
outside to hold the door open long enough for both of the dogs to get in, because I had to kind of help them because it was slickery. Couldn't get traction even to get back into the house. And when my foot started slipping, just from me having that foot out the door, it was like, nah. So,
Wow. See, I'm simple. I've got such a simple life, man. But I understand that watching the dog behave, making my day go a certain way because Hannah is a instinct animal. She doesn't know how to speak. She can't write me a letter or warn. She barks and she runs around. That's about it. So I've learned to see where she's at and if she's quiet, if she's barking, and figure out what her needs are from doing those things. And that's, hey, to me, that's the big highlight of my damn day now. Seeing, if when Cirque's got to go to work in the morning, she's got herself a new project that she just freaking loves to do it. So now they're keeping her more at work than she's been at home. Because of the commute. Yeah, it's a long commute, but we discussed all that. But anyway, so I've got a lot of time during the day when she goes into the city where I'm free to do whatever I damn well please. And I find myself very comfortable being home and pittering around the house, doing little things and playing a lot on the internet, games and, stuff I didn't have time to do before. Now I've got all the time in the world to do it. And I've found comfort. So
there you go.
I don't know. Well, yeah, but I think I made it myself.
Well, yeah.
I don't think other people give it to me. I think, hey, I decided this is how I'm going to be, and this is it. But I'm not a morning person, I was a night owl for a lot of years, and it really fucked up my days and nights.
Well, you go with your natural cycle. That's why there are such a term as a morning person or a night person or whatever. And sometimes you change midstream, because I used to not be a morning person, and wow, I am now.
Yeah. Oh, man. I see you go offline when, I'm waking up for the Freakers Ball, and I can see some of the chat still on there, and I'll see you've gone to bed an hour ago when they just came on. Well, because you get up early in the morning.
Yeah.
So do I. And wow, it's such a change from where I came from is all. Anyway, so to get off off that, but I was just in a good mood about, I have a nice day, and I like to see other people have a nice day.
Yeah.
But
you were
I don't
talking
type
about
like
the different things that you do with Hannah,
Yeah.
and, how you're figuring out. And my daughter and I, this morning when, I don't know if I said on the radio, I know I did when we were talking, but today is her birthday, and I called her and
Happy birthday.
sang happy birthday at her. She just loves it. In any case, we were talking about their new puppy. and how
That's always
she's
good.
yeah, she's really proud of her because she hasn't had an accident in the house for like a week. And
Oh no.
yeah, so I mean, she is a new puppy. So they've only
Yep.
had her about a month. So, doing good.
Oh
And
yeah.
she said that she's still, bitey, which that is puppy. Puppies like to bite.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a corgi Australian Shepherd mix, just cute as all get out. And she said that one of the funny things is they have learned, because a couple weeks ago at the end of Bronco football season, they bought a little jersey that fits her. And they put it on her so that she could have her little Bronco jersey picture with the rest of the family. And
Oh, jeez.
I know, just goofy shit.
Yeah.
And
Cruelty to animals.
yeah, well, in any case, where I'm getting is she said that Willow likes to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. Apparently, she's a morning puppy. And, she wants to go outside. She wants to do her
Yeah.
business. And then when she's done, she comes in the house. And if the sun is up, that means it's time to be up and be playing. And so
Wow.
she said that they have learned with this Broncos jersey that when they put it on her, she just flops over on her side. So...
Holy shit.
So now
Okay.
when she gets up at 5:30 and lets Willow outside to do her business along with Maisie, their big mastiff that they have. They go out, they do their business. Maisie will come back in and she'll lay down because that's just the way Maisie rolls. Willow wants to run around, so first thing Beaners does is she just gets that little jersey out, she puts it on Willow, and Willow will just flop right beside Maisie and just stay there. And,
Oh, so yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
she can go back and
They're like us.
yeah,
They
so
follow. They follow the elders. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's just she said it's funny, and I laughed at her and I said, so basically, while you're trying to train the puppy is training you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dr. Cooper and me have one ritual to feed him with, and Cirque and him have a different one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the cat treats Cirque one way and treats me another. It's very strange. And the fucking thing dominates me, too. And I do it. It's almost embarrassing. But, it's a cat, so what the fuck?
Yeah. Well.
Cats are cool.
Yes.
I don't know. In my animal world, with that I see animals in, I'm more of a cat guy than a dog guy.
See,
And I think cats are vicious as fuck.
they can be. They can be. But so
Right.
can dogs. So any animal. I've even seen
Okay, I
birds
trust the
get
dog.
vicious.
Okay, but I still, out of the three, I'd still be leery of a cat before anything else.
Well, yeah, because
They're just They
cats
do
have
shit,
yeah,
man.
cats have this way of being. I love you. I
Aloof.
love you. Feed me. Feed me. If you don't feed me right now, if you don't feed me what I want to have, I'm going to do the figure 8 in between your feet and make you fall. And then when you're laying there on the ground bleeding out, I'm going to get right up in front of you and I'm going to show you my butt and say, see?
Yeah.
Should have fed me what I wanted. That's
See?
just cats.
vicious, right? And the dogs are like, they lick you all over, lick themselves all over, lick the neighbors.
Yeah.
Then they go with their balls, and then it's just like, wow. Okay. I wish I could live like that.
Yeah, you'd never leave the house.
Well, unfortunately, we're still. No, I meant like. Well, probably not. I don't know. I'm not gonna respond to that particular question in a negative or a positive light at this particular time. Right, honey? Poor Cirque. I mean, I know I make a lot of jokes, but Cirque's easy to get along with. I just do that. Let me ask my wife crap because I think it's funny. I think it's funny that anybody would believe that I would have to ask anybody anything.
Yeah.
I don't even like to ask you what time it is. It's just like, hey, wait a minute. You told me. Maybe you're full of shit. Did you see that meme I sent you the other day about the two guys sitting there smoking, and one guy goes, hey, Who's the? How did the guy that invented time know what time it was? Think about it.
I
Where
am.
did where did the concept of a clock come from? Was this one guy all by himself going, "Hey, come here, look at this," or was this a group of guys got together and figured, "Hey, you know what we could do if we convince these people that there's hours and days and seconds?"
Wow. Wow.
Well, what led me to start thinking about it was a trillion anything
Uh-huh.
is completely insane to me, right?
Yes.
All right. So I brought it down and I started to go, well, then a billion anything. No, that's a lifetime accounting. How would I know I had a billion anything? Somebody have to tell me. So I went down to a million, and a million anything. I'd be counting for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, in my mind, it just backs up the true that this is just it's an illusion that we all share, and we get to interpret it however we want to. And some people want to control how other people enjoy the illusion. And they call it law. It's a big fantasy. They've got these dummies convinced that it's for their own good to get a ticket for not strapping themselves into a 2,000-pound bomb filled with gasoline and then driving that thing 100 miles an hour. Yeah. Oh, for one, you're going too fast, and for two, you don't have a seatbelt on. Well, you know what? Here's what I was thinking is, well, if it goes 100 miles an hour, why is it illegal to do that? If it does it, if you're capable of doing it, why is there a law against doing it? So tempting. You know, once you hit about 140, it almost feels like you're sitting there watching a TV screen.
You know, I have driven faster than 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Twice.
I've
done
believe
that.
me. I believe you. Oh, yeah. Well, the fastest, I wasn't driving. I was a passenger. And the fastest I ever went that I know of was 140 in a BMW crossing the Arizona-California line. And the CHP, there was 3 cars, and one of them just waved us in. he was sitting on the shoulder of the road with his lights on, standing outside the car waving. And the guy driving knew, so he just pulls in the rest stop, give him a ticket. And it was the old days where they didn't ask me anything. He was driving. Wasn't my problem. Not, hey, let me see some ID, son. None of that bullshit. That stuff hadn't even started yet.
Yeah. Huh.
The good old days when we was almost free, except for that slavery part.
Hmm.
Well, it's sad how few people are willing to openly admit that we are slaves in a hamster wheel for our own good, because we're too ignorant to mind our own business. This is what the Congress says. We're not smart enough to take care of ourselves. And then what they do is they show you this prime selected group out of some ghetto somewhere that they created that way on purpose to prove that we as a collective
are not smart enough.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's been part of the plan. And I keep seeing all of these different things all over the place of, you really think that the system is broken? And it's like, no, it's not broken. It is working exactly how it was supposed to.
From the beginning. Yeah. And all these big things they think are, oh, how did that happen? Well, it's part of a plan. And the idea behind that is so heartbreaking and so unrealistic that you got to think outside of the box to embrace it, because it's like self-defeating.
You know, there's
an
old Milton Friedman video on YouTube, or it was on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there or not, where he's talking with people in ghetto areas that are trying to refurbish, rebuild, and this is back in the 60s that he was doing this. And they're also talking to people, families that are, you know, they've initiated this whole welfare system and all the other fun shit, and these families are talking about how they were told they would not get any government assistance if the husband went out to work because he would make too much money and then they wouldn't get enough assistance. And but yet they need to have that extra little kick because yada 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 or yada yada yada. There's always some reason why. And you know, when you have kids and you live in a big city, and especially if you live somewhere where the landlord every year raises the frickin' rent, you know, and your wages are not increasing to compensate for the raises and the cost of raises and cost of living. So yeah, I could kind of sort of see the whole needing a little bit of government assistance, which is that in and of itself was all part of the plan, and that's pretty much what Milton Friedman says. That is part of the plan. They did this so that they would have the dads that would not work because they got more money through government assistance than they did if the dad went out and worked. And then you started having deadbeat dads, and then it started degrading the way men feel about themselves because they were no longer out there and contributing to the family. And it was a long and circular kind of reasoning thing, but wow, by the time I was done listening to that, it was holy shit. Yeah, this was well thought out plan, and we fell for it.
Yeah. Well, and then Beth saying something about that's why they are so easily programmed. Well, it's everywhere. Everywhere that there's a TV set.
Yeah, but you don't even have to have a TV set. I mean,
well,
my
let me finish.
mom grew up listening to the radio, and even the radio.
Okay. But I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm talking about today.
Let
me finish the sentence. Okay. Now, the reason I say it's TV set, I was going to finish with this.
Yes.
Because you got me, you crazy broad.
Yes, I did.
Remember last week, the inauguration, I'm walking to the grocery and I see the big TV set.
Uh-huh.
You know what I don't see in windows is the internet. Everybody that shows off their big TV set to the side, you know, so the people walking down the street and driving can see they've got a great big TV set in their house, is watching TV, cable TV or whatever the Danish TV is. But I don't see like, hey, look, that guy's on Facebook. No. See sports games and news and movies and whatnot on a TV set.
Yeah.
So that tells me, okay, but see, I've got my prejudice, and I'm saying that I'm so against the television programming that I believe is there that I kind of cringe when I watch movies on the internet but I already know what's in them. So for some reason, it doesn't seem to affect me like it affects other people, you know?
Yeah.
But I realize that the conditioning here through the television is just as thick as it was at home. And I blame television.
But television is just a tool that they have used. And I got to agree with Beth Z on this. She has said this several times. It is the media. And it has always been any kind of mass media. And even if it's not media, you got the grapevine that was always really good at distorting things.
I was just telling you what I thought about it.
I know, and I'm just...
You guys are going to see it in a different light that I'm not capable of yet, or maybe I hit it once, or maybe I'm going to hit it in the future, but I ain't got there yet. I'm still right now going, wow, these people are all watching television shows, and it clicked. I never noticed it before. I've been here for years. I just never noticed that there's a lack of internet. Now, there's always people on cell phones doing shit, but, you know, how many of them do you think are in a chat room somewhere talking about the world's falling apart? Let's fix it. They're not. That's where we're at. We're so small. This group is so small. It's not even believable how small we truly are.
Yeah, but the group of people that get into chat rooms and talk about this stuff may be small, but when we go out and interact with the public, even if we don't talk about the things that we talk about in the chat room, our behavior and how
Yeah.
we treat others is an example to others, and eventually
Oh yeah.
someone will say, so why do you do that? Because everybody always
Yeah.
wants to know why, and that's one of those wonderful things that Simon Sinek is a brilliant young man,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
um,
He's
he's
corporate. Yeah.
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 I think he's a little too sweet for my taste. And that's maybe some of that is because he just hasn't had enough salty shit thrown in his life yet. I don't know. But he's a very very nice young man, and I don't mean that as a bad way, but I do definitely mean that as wow. Sometimes you have to be a little abrupt with people. Sometimes there's just no two ways around it. And one of the
To make
reasons
your
why
point,
I
yeah.
say that is because he's always saying it's not the millennials' fault. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I have got to disagree on that one because, with all of the internet, with all of the TV, with all the diverse opinions out there, and they still
Yeah.
cling to their I deserve it simply because I think I deserve it. When you keep clinging to that and you keep needing to
Yeah.
have that little safe room or people to not say things because it hurts your feelings and you have a right to not be offended. You know how you have a right to not be offended? Get the fuck over it. That's how you exercise your right to not be offended. It's not any external. It's all internal on that shit. And that's where I think he needs to tell those precious little cupcakes that he's feeding them. I'm sorry, but he's feeding their narcissism by saying it's not their fault. Yes, it is. Because they do have
That's
eyes. They can see the rest of the world. And all they have to do
okay.
is just acknowledge, okay, maybe if I stop being such a precious little snowflake all the time, I might actually
How?
get some
How?
of what. Well, how do they do that? By taking a little
They've
bit of
been
responsibility.
They've been wired to behave like Pavlov's dog to these ideas.
Yes, they
through
have,
the
but
dense
that's
school
not.
system. And
That is their choice to
well,
remain that way. I was wired to be fucking June
they don't know
Cleaver,
that
and I didn't stay that way. It took me a while to get out of
forever.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
saying that it's not someone's fault because of the situation that they're sitting in, okay. As for the situation that they got dumped into, okay, you got dumped into
Yeah.
a situation, yeah, I can get where that's not your fault. But it is your fault
Yeah.
to stay in that situation. If you decide to stay there, if you decide to
I don't
wallow
know.
in it, that is your conscious decision, especially when you have alternatives out there. And there are alternatives out there. I see you got coffee delivered. I just have a cat that sheds on me that delivers.
Best part of the whole fucking show, everybody.
I know, but it's
Thanks, sir.
I understand how people can get caught up. Hell, I got caught up in shit. But you know what? When you get faced with reality, when it's like that what is that? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the movie, that scene where they're on the bureaucracy planet, and every time they say "I think," a shovel comes up and smacks them in the face. When reality smacks you in the face enough times, you got to start maybe making that connection of why it's smacking you in the face, and then go, okay, maybe I should try doing things a little differently. It's not that difficult. In my mind, it's not. And then that's where I go back to having to remember that not everyone sees things the way I do. Because, well, I'm the only one that sees things the way I do. So, okay,
I
there,
would hope
my
so.
rant.
But I would hope so. Right. And, there's this overplayed idea of the individual, in my opinion. I was raised with all that. Be number one, compete, charge. And at the end of this, I'm looking at it too. If I had have worked with other people more closely to achieve a different goal, I would have accomplished a lot more. But that wasn't how I was raised.
Well,
Hmm. My change came in halfway through the life. So, I'd half a life doing one thing, and here's the last 25 years or so doing something completely different than I started out doing.
yeah. See, and my change started, and I'm not talking the change, but my
No,
change
come on.
I know, my change started when I was still in high school, and it wasn't anything to do with the school, or public education per se. It had everything to
Okay.
do with the Catholic Church and how they treated my mother. And I got a lesson that I don't think they intended to teach me. But the lesson that I got was my mom was a good Catholic. My mom made the vestments for the priests. Even
Right.
after Dad divorced her, she still made vestments for the priest. Although they told her, you're now a divorced woman, and if you do not get an annulment, you can't receive communion. Which really bothered her at the time. Pissed me off, because at that time I was still doing the church every Sunday. Hell, I was part of a group that we had, it was called the Guitar Mass, and there was 5 of us that was up in front of the rest of the church, and we sang the hymns and all that fun stuff. I was a very good little Catholic girl until they told my mother what they told her, and until they told me that since my parents divorced, I was no longer welcome in their church because I was a non-entity according to the church. That's when I really started waking up to the whole, wow,
Yeah.
talk about control freaks. All of a sudden, I no longer exist to you, even though just 2 days ago, I was one of those up in front of the rest of the congregation, leading them in song, and now I no longer exist. Wow. Thank you for that life lesson. It's amazing. People do some of the craziest things, and they don't realize the lessons that people can walk away from those things with. And Rob Works just said that he's not going to be doing a show today. Darn it.
Canceled. Yeah, his partner canceled. Steve couldn't make it. Ouch, Rob Works.
Bummer, dude.
Well, I do understand what you're saying, but not from experience so much as by seeing other people do it.
Yeah.
Because I was such a rotten child. About 9 years old, I just turned into this completely different kid that wouldn't comply anymore. There was no explaining it. It just happened, In 3rd grade, I was almost straight A's. In 4th grade, I was almost straight D's.
Yeah, my grades plummeted in school, too, because I didn't give a shit anymore.
I don't think I was old enough to make the decision to give a shit when I was 9 years old. I don't know how to explain what I lived through, but I do remember about it. I did not like my teacher. She was the most, she was a really pretty Japanese woman, and she wore skirts up to her neck every day, but I couldn't stand her the sight of her. She was just a horrible person. But she was pretty to look at. But as far as a person, I couldn't stand her. And just down the shithole, my whole attitude and everything, they were grading me, and how I got along with people, I didn't. 9 years old. So, But I think what that woman did do was save me a lot of years of misery in their public education system, because I wouldn't participate in it.
Yeah.
And my parents would get all the reports. Oh, but he's got such potential, and but he won't listen to anything we tell him. And nobody could change it. They couldn't beat it into me. They couldn't punish. There was no punishment that they could come up with that would stop me from not participating.
Yeah.
So here we sit all these years later, and I'm still that kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never grew up or something. I don't. People call me childish. That have known me through my life. Through my adult years, and said, "Geez, have you ever even tried to be a grown up?" No, not really. Just from standing over here looking at you, it looks like a fucking drag. Why don't you drag that horse down the road and I'll go have fun with doing this? Anyway, so life.
Yes.
Don't talk to me about life.
Yeah.
How about another one of my wonderful questions?
There you
I
go.
I want to create a secret organization, and I want to call it Sphincter. But I'm working on an acronym for it. Like I did with Trump.
Uh-huh.
The rash under my prick. Trump. Let's see.
So, sphincter?
Here is a great door. I think this qualifies for the Dork Handbook.
Okay.
Making simple things complex makes you look smart to an idiot.
That's, yeah. Ba-dum-pum-pum.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I'll use me as an example, okay? I have such a hard time with the computer thing. I can turn them off, I can turn them on. You show me how to do something. If I do it regularly enough, it stays. But if you try to teach me shit about it, I don't want to know. Oh. It's like a punishment, right? So anybody that seems to know anything about the internet or programming or working all these sites all at the same time, to me, seems pretty fucking smart.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked at what I can do is really doesn't take a lot of brains. It takes a lot of interest. So it's easy to baffle somebody with brilliance when you're just handing them a lot of bullshit.
Uh-huh.
I'm not immune. I admit it. I get bamboozled every now and again by a trickster, one of them there city slickers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they're out there. They're waiting for us, Mary. They're waiting to pounce on us at every turn.
Wow.
That's what the government would want you to think. Remember I tried to explain this years ago. As long as we're arguing, as long as we're in disagreement, we're in the emotion of fear. And that is the goal of the powers that be. Beth made a point of saying it's in the advertisement, the billboards, da-da-da-da-da. I see so little of it. I mean, outside of going to the grocery store to get our necessary provisions to continue life-sustaining eating, I don't see anything. And what I do see, it's all subliminal. And as much of a prick as I am, I don't know how they're ever going to get through that. I can walk through a store for a can of tuna and come out of the store with a can of tuna. Go to the store for milk and come home with 8 more things than they left for. So for some reason, I'm immune to that. Advertising in your face, subliminal shit doesn't work. Up to the point of getting the necessary provisions, there it works, but it ends with, I ain't buying that just because they want to sell it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I made it a thing to be aware of it, that they're trying to make you buy stuff in a store without you knowing that you're buying stuff because they're selling it to you. But having been a salesman for so long, it's easier to understand the sales gimmicks if you've used them to make money. There you go. I used to sell rain suits. I'm telling you, there's money in everything.
Did you sell rain suits in the desert?
No, I sold rain suits over the telephone to boat marinas all over the United States.
Ah.
I found a law that said people that were out on yachts, the yacht had to be fitted with rain suits. It was a law.
Really?
And as long as I hit a boat marina that was aware of the law and they knew, which everybody knew, because you got to be, they're not like, I don't know. This was back in the late 70s and probably into 80. So maybe the laws have changed, but at the time, yeah, I could pick up a phone book on any coast and just either coast and Florida and call a boat marina and find, yeah, they kept them in stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I found a particular item people had to buy. If you called them with it and they needed some, they'd order them from you. It wasn't a big deal. But I've made a shitload of money off petroleum products in the late 70s and 80s before I knew what the fuck all this was about. Sure, a lot of guilt for it too now, you know. Because once upon a time, I was looking for like a gasoline vendor that had those big tanker trucks that drug that big hose to dump in the gas stations. And I was trying to sell them a new product to replace what they were already using, and it worked. And I made a lot of money doing it for some reason. I was good at talking people into trying shit. And now in my old days, I'm thinking, man, what a horrible thing I really did. Hindsight.
Well, yeah, but can you really use hindsight on that kind of stuff? That's like judging people. Well, it's like judging people from the Middle Ages for the things that they did, but that was the time period. And does that make it any? Does it make it any worse what they did because we're judging it with our moral code now?
No, it makes a distinction between the lack of information that I had and today the amount of information I have and what I'm willing to do to use the information I have in my own life. Not just put it on you. You got to have a car to drive to work. You live in the fucking country. That's the way things are set up. What isn't set up is the truth about petroleum products. They bullshit us with stories and lies. Got this whole planet is run off inferior products to fuel us with, and the people that do it know it. They know there's alternative. They're always throwing this shit on Twitter about investing in new fuel alternatives. You're fooling yourself. There is no such thing as fuel alternatives. They found them all. They're hiding the ones that will not cost you and charging you out the ass for the shittiest version of the one you're using.
Yeah. Well, and
and I'm in it too. I'm not special.
That's one of those things that I'd spoken with someone years ago that his buddy in Nebraska had purchased a Cadillac, and I absolutely hate Cadillacs. I think they're just the ugliest damn things, and working at a car dealership, I know how expensive it is to fix those damn things, so I'm not a Cadillac fan at all. But this gentleman had purchased a Cadillac, and apparently Cadillac had screwed up. They had put out a Caddy that had an experimental carburetor on it. And he said the worst fuel mileage he got, and mind you, this was back when the Caddies were boats. The worst fuel mileage he got was 50 miles to the gallon. That was the worst. That was like 30 years ago. And Cadillac, when they realized what they did, tried to get the vehicle back from him, but he was not having any of that. He said, no, I like my car. I like my car. And what wound up happening when they finally did get him to succumb to the offers, it was basically, you will get a free brand new Cadillac every year for the rest of your life if you let us have this one back. Oh, and you have to sign this agreement, which was a non-disclosure agreement, which he signed.
Yeah.
And then he got to feeling bad about it and did disclose it and wound up losing the free caddy for life kind of thing. But yeah, they've had that stuff for years. It's just that it's national security that it's not released. And the only reason it's national security is because of petrodollar. It's the only reason it's national security.
Okay, then how? Or if these, when you break things apart and you explain, well, the driver's license is a scam. Oh, there's no such thing as a income tax law. That's all bogus too. That federal crap, nah, there's no such thing. And then you get down to things like fuel and water and food. How can these things be any more honest than the three things I just mentioned before them? They all come from the same source.
Yeah, yeah. And it's definitely
Right.
the you repeat that lie often enough and loud enough and long enough, and you will
Well,
get people to
I've
start
seen.
believing the lie.
Oh, all right, but see, there again, there's that subjective. If I believe something, Mary, that's because I believe it.
Yeah.
And who are you to interfere with that? And what a nightmare we are.
Yeah.
It's insane. But
Yeah, but
doesn't the
most
guy that what?
a lot of people don't
But the,
realize that's the way it works. That what I think may be a lie to you, may be a falsehood to you, may be totally off
yeah,
the wall to anyone
yeah,
else. But if I believe it,
yeah.
it is my truth.
Right. Well, then why it's got to be a group thing. If you're not in a group, well, I don't know. I got lost in that whole thing. Just how my mind kind of wanders. But I'm going to just go back to as long as we're disagreeing and arguing and fighting with each other, that's what the plan is. Because we can't come together and unify as long as we're disagreeing. It's not going to work.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily the disagreeing that's the problem. It's the conditioning that's gotten us to where we feel as though what we hold true must be forced upon everyone else, even to the level of bringing violence upon someone else because they just flat out won't accept our truth. There's something about that whole everyone else must accept your truth kind of thing.
Right. Because just because I'm not violent doesn't mean you're not violent, and vice versa, right? But somehow they've got a certain amount of people convinced to such a degree about this state of emergency that exists, and you gotta join a group to be protected. And actually, we're all being fucked in the ass the same way by the same people, but they've got your support to do it to us. And the ones that don't want any part of it, shit, we get ridiculed and called names, and you name it, and it happens to us.
Yeah.
And what we want is to be not so much left alone, but given the option, I don't want to be a part of your thing. How come I'm a citizen on paper? These people think they own my paperwork, that they've made me a citizen of a thing I don't want to be a part of. But in court, that's going to hold up. They're going to end up owning me if it ever came to court.
Yeah.
Depending on if I don't know how to defend myself from it. If I went into like somebody that didn't know what Admiralty Court was, just went all lollygagging in after some fucking lawyer and saying, no, I didn't do this and blah, blah, blah. Boy, I'd be fucked. Because that's how they get you.
Yeah.
The way I've seen people on Twitter have no idea. They think that the court can't trick you out of your consent. They don't understand the court exists because it tricked you out of your consent.
Yeah.
It's a kangaroo court. Try telling the voters this, and they argue with you and defend the beast against your disagreeing with the way things are going. They call this crap law. What the fuck is wrong with people? I'm going to have this guy with a gun and a club force you to do something. What? How is that moral? How is it right? How is it anything but aggressive fucking and horrible?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. But then they call me names. Oh, you just don't, you don't believe in it. No, I don't. I don't believe in this stuff. So I think my lack of belief in it makes my life the way my life goes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I was a true believer in it, I'd be in the middle of some stupid city with a bunch of other idiots arguing about $5. And no, I ain't gonna do that. Like you were saying earlier, it's your choice. Most folk do not want to go anywhere. They like it where they're at. They're happy there. They just
Yeah.
don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Well, you
and not
can't be in.
necessarily happy, maybe just comfortable.
I think it helps to be in fear when you play the victim of something.
Yeah.
If I looked at myself as a potential victim of the Admiralty Court, blah, 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 then when I'd have to face them in court, I'd be all intimidated. But I'm not, because through other people's advice over the years, I've formulated a defense. And I tried my defense out on Hal Anthony, and he seemed to think it would work.
Oh.
So, oh yeah, and using Hal as a gauge, Hal in
Yeah.
his law.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a flaw in my plan, he would have pointed it out so I could find better answer.
Yeah.
But he chose to agree with what I said to him. He said that should work pretty much.
Pretty much.
I'm patting myself on the. Well, I'm quoting a written word.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is I got his approval. It made me feel good because, the guy's always saying, oh, you're crickets and this and that and the other. And I'm a cricket. I realize that. But I have the knowledge and the contacts with people that if I need it, I can get it readily. So I'm not in need. So what do I need to do with it? Yeah. My wife's not crazy. So we understand how this system in Denmark truly works.
Yeah.
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 I'm just not allowed to call her a debt slave because, then she gets mad at me because it's rude. We've talked about it and
Yeah.
have a sensible conversation. But on a personal level, sure, it would, hey, don't use that and be mean to me with it. That's not right. No, I would never do that. But I refer to it because it's a given. It's not like an opinion. If you own anything in this fucking life and people expect payments on that thing that you think you own, you're a debt slave. There you go. End of story. What more is, but you'll get, people will argue, no. Well, okay, 30 years of interest rate is not slavery? I mean,
Yeah.
what are you, fucking stupid? They're selling the house for like 5 times more than it's worth because of the interest rates. I think this whole thing is a big fucking scam. Should be ended.
Yeah.
But no. And then they say stupid shit like, what do we do for power? And you know what you'll do for power? Your local guys are going to go, let's get the energy up, man. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Whoever does whatever they do that's necessary to actually run a society. I'm not talking about bankers and lawyers and fucking thieves. I'm talking about the guys that get out there like Bunyan and Don C. Vince, that get out there in the world and physically do shit. Those fuckers are going to step up and make sure things are working. But we're not taught to trust the neighborhood like that. See? We're pitted against each other to always argue about what's wrong, what's going wrong, what's going to be wrong, what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but we've got this instinct in all of us that when the shit hits the fan, I've been in earthquakes, I've been in hurricanes, and when the shit hits the fan, people get together and fucking work together to get out of being in it. And then after a few days, then the leeches come in from the north and start selling water for $10 a gallon to people that are thirsty.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when the initial problem hits, you're going to find out that there's a part of you that just wants to fix it. So what they do is they keep us with all these links about violence and fear so that we'll think the neighbors are going to attack us and steal our cookie. No, your neighbor's your neighbor, and they're probably going to try to be decent to you if you're decent to them. It's not complicated.
What? Steal my cookie? Nah, them's fighting words.
When I was in San Francisco, I lived in an apartment building, 3-floor apartment building. The girl above me and me did not get along very well.
Mm-hmm.
When the earthquake happened, for about 10 days until they got the neighborhood sorted out again, we found middle ground and could communicate with each other in a civil manner. Soon as everything was back to normal and we didn't need each other anymore, it was back to I can't stand him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But see, through the time when it was necessary to, get along, we did. And that was in a city. So I just wonder how much of the bullshit that we hear is just not really bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is just that bullshit. But
I felt ranty. I'm sorry, Mary.
oh, that's okay. I'm just you were going off, and then all of a sudden, Deep Dork Vine. that sounds more fun.
Well,
said that he knows things and stuff.
Yeah, but I was remembering a tragedy, the way it happened, and how everybody in the neighborhood changed. All the people that couldn't get along and couldn't stand each other, all of a sudden could overlook that because we're all fucking same neighborhood stuck together. And whether we liked it or not, things had to be done.
Yeah.
There you go. But what I found was the people that went to what their aptitude led them to, If you were big and strong, you were the guy that moved the brick off the car.
Yeah.
If you liked to cook, maybe you'd make some food for everybody, and so on and so on.
Yeah. Everybody went where their strength was. Yeah.
Right. And those things aren't so much brought up out of us. We sure spend a lot of time bitching about who the president is, but we don't spend a lot of time thinking about, well, you know what? It sure looks like the shit's going to hit the fucking fan in the future at some point. They're going to create it for us one way or the other. Whether we want to believe this or not, look at the results that you're living in. That should tell you what you need to know. And when it does happen, think about what I was saying is when there's really a disaster, the best of you will come out of you.
Oh, yeah.
You will amaze yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad thing that we need disaster to find that common link with your fellow, but it really works. We got it too easy right now. Everybody's all pissing and moaning about words, but, they're still eating every day, and there's electricity to run all their gadgets with, so they're cool. They got gas in the car to get to work. Mm-hmm. They're all right. They got money to buy beer on Friday. It's okay. But when that beer truck doesn't want to run, what are you going to do? You got 3 days, and then there's going to be no more beer.
Yeah.
Well, then what?
Somebody's going to know, hey, my son-in-law brews beer. It's just that he's 4.5 hours away. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And what the Internet's done is pitted us against each other and separated us even further beyond where we're already divided as people. Now there's groups to be in and groups within groups within groups. And I don't see ever straightening this nightmare out.
See, and I just see the internet as a tool that has been used towards that purpose, and the only reason that it's worked is because people have that inclination to start with. Just like people have the inclination to step in and help when there's a tragedy, like you were talking about with yours, and here in Kansas, a big one was when Greensburg pretty much got wiped off the map with a tornado. I mean, the only thing left standing was one grain elevator, and I think there was one other thing left standing in the whole town. And the wild thing is people came from all over to help. And even 6 months later, I took Mom down there when it was out of the way from where we were heading, but she wanted to see it, so we went down there. They had a tent hospital, and if you are of a mind, when you see that and you see what people went, how devastating it was. And then you go down 6 months later and you see houses are being built and buildings are being reconstructed and hospitals are there. They're a tent, but it's a hospital. And you go, wow. It's amazing what people can do when they come together, and you hope that it sticks, but I really think the reason it doesn't stick is because we do have that, as we were talking before the show, that lizard mind, that base mind
Yeah.
that gets
Yeah.
played on, the one that works on instinct alone, and
Yeah.
that gets played, and we're inundated with it, and it's really easy to go with what we're being inundated with, as opposed to just saying no to the lizard mind, using your higher mind, thinking rationally, and actually, realizing that all they're doing is playing on your emotions. It's a game.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Me and you agree with that. We've talked about that for about 8 months now.
Yeah.
Uh, and still, it's like a new idea. I. It's so easy. Life is so easy to get through. I wish I would have known sooner. You know the old thing.
Yeah.
If I'd only known then, well, then I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So it's crazy. But in a sense, it would have been nice to grow up with the knowledge I have today instead of the knowledge that I was given. You know, it was just wow.
Yeah,
It could have been different. The first could have been different if I would
Yeah.
have started out on a better. In a better state of mind. Let's use that term. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing how much control other people have over you until you're about 12, 13.
Yeah.
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 Didn't
And you,
even know it until I was about 12. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what, Beth? You're right, but I think that is also a learned behavior. Because you have people that have that is a stronger inclination for them to wish to be the one that's pulling the strings on others, because it quite literally gets their rocks off doing that shit, fucking with
Oh
people's heads,
yeah.
and jerking
Oh
people
yeah.
around and making people, oh, let's see what hoops we can make them jump through now. There are
Yeah.
people out there that are inclined to be that way, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing if you know that you really enjoy swaying people towards something by playing on their emotions. You can take it to the dark side, which is where it, as far as I can see, it has been taken for eons. Or you can take that ability to sway and say, you know what, you could go over there and just be miserable, or try and make everyone else miserable so that you don't feel so lonely in your misery. Or you could step over here and look at this. Isn't that a pretty flower over there? And look, there's a butterfly that's appreciating it. And just kind of start steering people, but that's not the way it's worked. It hasn't worked that way for a long time. And I don't know if this is a new movement. I mean, I see all this stuff of people going, oh, but there's a shift going on. I really, looking back at things, and especially lately, I've looked back at some of my older books, my fiction books that where people,
Yeah.
they will take human frailties, human foibles, the better traits of humanity, and they'll weave it into a storyline that does, yeah, Grimmy, taking it to the dork side, that does ring true with a lot of people because of the humanness of it. And I've looked at some of the books that were written back in the 20s and the 30s, and it's a continuing theme. There's always that, yeah, like Beth said, 10 or 20% throughout. And I wonder if maybe the reason why they didn't have very much of an impact was because you could not impact more people. Whereas now that we have all of these wonderful gadgets and the internet, you can be more impactful on more people if they take the initiative to at least look, if not listen. So maybe it is more so now just simply because of the technology that we have available now.
No, I
I don't know.
disagree because there's 7 billion people on the planet, and what 1% of them are online,
Is that
and
really
the
all?
other it can't be much more than that. 7 billion people are,
That's, yeah.
come on.
That's a lot of people.
They Now they claim they've got 20,000 satellites all over the planet, but there's places that don't receive internet.
Yeah.
So, bullshit. See what
But
I
you
mean?
know, you
Okay,
don't
you're
have
gonna
to
go, yeah.
you don't have to be on the internet to have that mindset though.
Oh, I'm not talking to. See, there you go, taking it a step further than I was going. What I meant is, okay, what I'm trying to get at is there are so few people that really use this opportunity that you think we have. And not only that, but the fraction of them, I'm more getting into the amount of people that speak English on the internet is the minority, not the majority.
Hmm.
So, we're losing a whole ton of people on whatever side of this crazy fucking fight we're supposed to be on. We're losing them because they don't have anything to do with people that read and write in English or speak English. They got their own language. So I came to the decision that there's other people doing the same thing we're doing in their own language.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to physically join together. Just supposed to make your stand where you're at.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. But they've made everything so complex with their global bullshit. It seems more difficult than it truly is. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, Paul Bunyan's been a firefighter, I think, right?
Mhm.
Am I correct on that? Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
All right. Okay, firefighting is a tough thing. And I bring it up because when fire is one of the most people will respect fucking fire. They will thank you to come in and fight their fire. They're terrified of fire.
Yes.
So to be a firefighter is, yeah, man, that's a side of humanity that most people don't seem to have.
Yeah.
Okay, and I would think he would know that feeling of, you get together, man, and you take care of the problem. Who cares if you can't stand me? Got nothing to do with it. Let's put this fire out. We'll talk later. And that's what I see the future as. Not a disaster because it fell apart, but actually, in my opinion, it'll be a good thing to fall apart. Then it'll show you the truth of what they've been hiding from you all along, which is where you are. People aren't all fucked up like you think they are. They're just like you. And unless you're fucked up, you shouldn't have anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
So through movies and media and advertisement and school and church and all these other organized things,
Uh-huh.
they've created a monster in us that lays dormant if you don't talk to it.
Yeah.
I don't wake up in the morning fearing Syrian people or American people or Australian people or German. I don't give a fuck about any of that. Then I turn the internet on and they see bombing Libya. Oh, wow. Here we go again. And they see a shooting in Paris. Oh, boy, here we go. Some more fun.
Yeah, but that's why they put that out there to bring people down.
Right. But when I open my eyes, I see a wife making coffee and a dog wagging her tail and a cat that wants me to carry him upstairs. And, it's really kind of nice.
Yeah.
But when I open the internet, all this knowledge and information about all these horrible things that are happening to everybody in the world. No. It's happening to some people in the world. And the reason it's happening is because we are going along with things we think we understand, but we're being conned, scammed, bamboozled, hustled. And you cannot convince people that depend on that crazy insanity. The law. Oh, there should be a law so somebody can be punished for doing it. Way over there where I don't even live there, but you know what? Fuck, write that guy a ticket and make him pay $100 fine. He should have been wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody notice that the motorcycle cop that pulls you over to give you a ticket for speeding and not wearing a seatbelt was speeding, and he was not wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, holy shit. Epiphany.
No, I'm
I know
making a
people
fucking.
don't make those connections, and that's where I see a lot of our problem is that the critical thinking, the analytical side of connecting dots. When we were kids, we had those lovely little connect the dot puzzles and stuff. You don't see those so much anymore, and I just had that thought run through my mind. Because my grandkids, they love doing word puzzles and stuff, but you don't see that many connect the dot puzzles anymore. I wonder if maybe, that's a weird thing that just popped in there. It is so. People don't connect the dots anymore. They don't see the picture from connecting those dots.
And the best part about it is the distance from you to the guy that the cops are protecting you from. Doesn't have nothing to do with you. Why do you even care? Because TV tells me to. Because society dictates that for me to be a good citizen, I have to behave like a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And the person doing it does not understand you're infringing on other people's shit because you've been told by a government they're infringing on your shit. What is your proof of them infringing on your shit? I don't see it. I take very seriously going to war in a third world fucking country and bombing the shit out of them. I don't understand what the fuck are you doing? But here we are.
But those people over there, if we don't do this, they're going to. We have projected that they're going to, and there's some more of that.
They're still selling that
might
shit?
maybe kind of sort of almost could possibly might happen. If such a thing could be, it would be. Just ask me, I'll tell you. Yeah. Well, that's how they get you to go along.
Oh, I don't go along with shit. Look, the only thing I keep my word about with you is I'll be here on time to do the Dork Table. Everything else, I either forget it or send you the wrong link or there's always a mistake or a.
Yeah, but is it a mistake? Because if you sent the wrong link and then I click on that link and I go, oh, that was cool. So maybe it wasn't a mistake.
I have a dork statement to make.
Okay.
I have spoken.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay. I think as of right now, this minute, I'm making this dork law.
Uh-oh.
To make $1 billion anything is just wrong. I have spoken. I have spoken.
To make $1 billion.
One more brilliant idea I had. Yeah. To make $1 billion anything is just wrong. Okay. My next thing was there's admiration, then there's what's happening.
Okay, I like that one, but I'm still contemplating the billion of anything, because what if you're making noodles? I like noodles. What if somebody is really good at making noodles and they make $1 billion noodles? Is that a bad thing?
Why don't you Google how long it would take a human being to make from base scratch? How many years it would take to make $1 billion noodles? That's what I mean is we've been taught these numbers that are so big that they're not physically possible. So they conditioned us to be familiar with them without really understanding what they represent.
Well, yeah, if you put it in front of people to where they can actually see something, that's that like that little rant I went on early on when we were first started doing the Dork Table, and I said, okay, so I got $5 here. I got a $5 bill right here, and then someone put a 0 behind it, and magically it's $50, as opposed to being 5 with nothing beside it.
Yep.
And now we've got 1. If you want to have $1 million, okay, now I got to stop and think of how many zeros that is. Is $1 million, is that 6 zeros behind it? 9? Okay.
9.
So I've got a 1 with 9 nothings behind it, but all of a sudden, they don't want it to be nothings anymore. Now I've got a 1 with 9 zeros, and that makes it sound like it's actually worth something.
You keep going with that. I'm going to go get something from downstairs real quickly.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
way I don't interrupt you through your rant.
Oh, but what if I was done? Okay, I'm going to scroll up here because Beth had said something about, what was that? When I get caught up. Okay, she said the reason that the Roman Empire fell so slow was because they didn't have this programming. And it came from results of the actions of what they were doing, not from programming. As much as in our time, which, yeah, it is. You can have all the programming in the world, but if you don't have action to follow it up with, that programming really isn't going to work. But if you have a few people that wind up being the sacrificial lamb, if you will, or,
Thank
this
you.
is going to be exhibit A for you. So, we have this programming, and if you don't follow this programming, this is what happens to you. And then they have someone that they do something bad to that you don't want done bad to you. And there's that example that you go, oh, but if I don't do what they tell me to do, that'll happen to me. I don't want
Yeah.
that happening to me. I'll just do what they tell me to do. Okay, what'd you find, Flasher?
Oh, I went downstairs because I ran out of smokes, right, to go get some more.
Oh.
Anyway, Cirque's down there listening, and they got a delay. So she says, "What happened?" I said, "Mary fired me off the dork table." Said that my wonderful correspondence wasn't holding up to par, and I had to go. No, and then I told her, no, I forgot cigarettes.
Yeah.
I felt like having me a puff on a nicotine stick.
Uh,
And there you go. So I had to go get me some downstairs off my table where I normally stay.
so I went all
Because now I'm
trumples
up
on
here.
you, huh? You're
I
fired.
know. You know what? This is just our opinions about stuff that either matters or it don't. And it's up to people that take
Listen.
it seriously or not. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah. It really is.
See,
It's
I'm
up to
not
the people that hear us as to if it matters or not. Because
right.
if it matters
Because
to us or not is one thing, but if it matters to them, then it's something different. It's kind of weird
I'm
like that.
really, but I'm really big on intention. And my intention is not what I would consider mainstream and normal. Because I'm getting exactly what I want out of doing this. And the growth thing is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I
Ye-
know, the damn thing I did with Larry and Rob Works and Vincent, that got 50. It got 50 looks on just on the what you call it, the YouTube thing,
Mm-hmm.
where you got to click on the YouTube link to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn. Well, hey, there's a few more people that might get an interest in the wavelengths and maybe do a little research into it. And who knows where you could go with this stuff? It could
Yeah.
take you anywhere. But you
Yeah.
got to listen to it. If you
Well,
don't
you got to
listen,
be willing to start adjusting your dial different to a different frequency before you'll even run across it. Um, but
wow, to not know that you have that ability must be it must be a real weight. To be that confined that you don't know you can make your own choices. That you have to follow somebody else's leadership. They know where they're going. Well, then why are we living the way we live if these fuckers are so smart? You know?
huh?
See, because look at logic and intelligence tells me if we were living in a good world, we would not have problems. That's what good world indicates. And what would it require? Food, water, and oxygen, and energy.
Well, we
Okay?
wouldn't have problems like what we have now, but
Right,
I
right, right,
really
right.
think in order for people to, I think if we don't have some kind of obstacle to overcome, or to
No,
figure
no,
out. No, I'm not saying something bad. I'm just saying like,
obstacle
oh,
bad.
you got a rock in the middle of your yard and you want it moved. You got to figure out how in the hell to get that big old honking rock moved in your yard. If you don't
That's not
have
my
some
point.
No, but
You're going way the other way with it,
yeah,
like you always
I
do.
am. But my point is, yeah, we can
Mhm.
have a nice world where we're not bickering about stupid things, where we're not going to war all the time. And
Right.
yet I still think in order for people to not get stagnant, you need to have
Whoa.
something.
But you didn't let me finish again. And what I was trying to tell you, though, is that I think, this is my opinion, that the reason things are so out of balance is because of the air and the water and the energy. The
Mhm.
main staples that sustain us as human beings are manipulated by greedy fucking bankers and idiots that want to tell somebody what to do 1,000 miles away and then have armed guards make sure these things are done. And if they're not done, fine them and punish them. And what? And then they create all this violence within the group, so people will be violent and hit each other and steal from each other. And these things are planned to be, and they're executed and controlled. And the public thinks it's chaos and calls it anarchy. They don't even
Calls
know
it
what the fuck they're
anarchy
talking
when they
about.
step away, when someone wants to step away from it, they call that anarchy. And that's okay, yeah, it is by definition, because you're stepping away and saying, there's only one ruler and that's me, kind of thing. But and
I
and
know, huh?
and I have a brother that keeps telling me anarchy is lawlessness and chaos. Okay,
No,
anarchy is lawlessness, because true anarchy, which will probably never happen
no,
just
no, I
because of
don't
the
see it.
human nature, the way it
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
But true anarchy is ruling yourself and
Yes.
getting along with others. You don't need laws that
No.
cover the masses if you all just mind your own. What is that thing? One of my texts, and I do this every morning when he comes in. There's a little video of a little girl that's trying to buckle herself into her seat belt in her car seat,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Daddy is filming her, and he asked her if she wanted help, and she said, "What about yourself?" Which, hey, out of the mouth of a 3-year-old, "What about yourself?"
Mhm.
Wow, why can't people just look at that and go, okay, yeah, a
I don't
3-year-old
know.
just told
They
me a cosmic
they don't
truth.
they don't interpret that way. They're
No,
not wired to understand. I understand what you say. Clearly, I do the same thing. I worry about myself and my wife and my dog and my cat.
yeah,
And everything else is in my way. And if something goes wrong, I try to fix it. And I try not to break things up more than they're already broken. You
yeah,
can't fix the world, but you cannot break it any more than it already is, which led me to the wavelengths and to the inferior sources of energy and food and water and so on. But explaining that to other people, they think that a new voice for the masses is going to change the actions that are being taken in the name of law, protected by this prick that you want leading you. And you can't see the forest for the trees. I don't get it. And there's what, half the population sucked into that crap.
yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
I don't know. It might be higher here in Denmark because they got their little kingdom thing going on, but they're insulated.
yeah, yeah. And
Eh,
Beth was agreeing with my little ranty there, and
oh, yeah.
I think part of the reason why we're not even close is because they you
Hmm.
gotta give the evil geniuses credit for being evil
Yeah.
geniuses, because man, this
Yeah.
really is a genius plan that
Brilliant. Yes.
they've done it slowly. They have gradually turned that heat up on that boiling water that we're sitting in. So it was a gradual thing that got us here. And if you do a quick shift, it's going to be a mess. If you don't
Mhm.
want a massive mess, if you don't want, a lot of suffering and possibly you getting taken out along with the equation, You
Hmm.
gotta gradually crank it back. And
Well,
so it's
isn't it
not gonna happen overnight because mindsets do not change overnight, not on a
but
massive scale.
isn't it just easier to chant what the group is telling you to chant and just go along?
Oh no, I don't do that well.
But look at all the great things that are going to come from it.
Yeah, yeah, chanting with the
Oh,
group. Rah,
wait.
rah, ree, kick him in
Speaking
the
of
knee.
Wait a minute. Speaking of which, I wrote some other brilliant thing I thought was just fucking brilliant. Let me see where it is. Ah, here it is.
There you go.
'Cause, yeah, I only write one or two brilliant things every year, and this is one of them. I wrote down, okay, people seem to be to the point in life where they will accept a promise about international trade while the local cops kill their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, we focus on all of these big things that really, seriously, what can we do
Hmm?
on a daily basis to stop those? When we've got all of the quote unquote little things going on right in front of our faces that we're just not paying attention to because we're so geared towards look at that big thing over there. Man, that pebble in my shoe hurts, but I'll deal with that later because I'm looking at that big thing over there.
The big shiny thing, you
Yeah,
know, with the dildo sticking out of it. I
yeah,
got to see what that is.
yeah. And I will
Oy.
keep walking over there and let that pebble in my shoe can just stay in my shoe and it can keep irritating my foot until it eventually wears a hole through my foot. But by God, I got to focus on that big thing over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, am I not too? Because you're my partner in Kansas and I am
Yeah.
living in Denmark.
Yeah.
Am I not doing the same thing in a way because of where we're at? I wonder. It opens that pot because the person doing the looking on their end can see it however the hell they please. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. And there you go. I don't give a shit how they see it. I only care how I see it.
Yeah.
How you see it doesn't interest me, doesn't involve me. It doesn't make my day does not change depending on your look, how you look at life. But my mood is definitely affected by what I allow myself to be affected by.
Yeah.
You know, there you go. And what I see as ignorant, the other people don't see as ignorant. They
Moosey!
think, hey, Moose. But it seems that the consensus is we need law and order to protect us from ourselves. So what I did was I found a place with my wife where the people that live here don't feel that need.
Yeah. Well, you found
Not,
a
yeah.
place to reflect what's inside of you, because, and that was one thing I saw earlier today. Someone was talking about how they had been traveling and traveling and just couldn't feel comfortable, just couldn't, even though they liked where they were at one point
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
didn't like where they were at another point, they just didn't feel like they were at home. And
Yeah.
and this was a comment on a meme that said something along the lines of home is where you feel at home. And and it's like you don't
Yeah.
have to location really doesn't mean shit because home is not an external. Home is an internal. If you feel at home inside, no matter where you go, you are at home. You just
Mm-hmm.
happen to be lucky enough to find a place to where your outside reflects your inside. Your
Yeah.
outside feels just about as comfortable as your home inside.
Yeah. I found a way to do that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, but I found a way to do that. So I know I'm doing just what you just said.
Mhm.
I go, fuck the future, look at the present. Where am I now?
Yeah.
I don't care where I'm going to be in 10 years or even 10 minutes. Where am I right now? There you go. And if I'm in a shitty mood, I'm the one that's in that shitty mood, not you.
Yeah.
So, well, you got to think about all these things that they enter our thinking process and our physical process and all these things we're not taught to understand. They can be understood if you explore things that are new and different. But I also believe that if you're going to be open to change, then you're not going to be interested because
Yeah.
you like where you are. And not only do you like where you are, but you want to, if by force, if necessary, help the poor motherfucker that isn't high on the totem pole as you are. And what I think life is I believe I'm an anarchist minded person. I just worry about me and I don't care about you. I
See
won't
how
do
you
you
are.
no harm. Yeah, I won't do you no harm. And everything else is just existence. Make what you want out of it. So
Yeah, and
I
you know
don't need
that
all
whole
this
fun
law.
thing about not doing anyone else any harm, that's actually
Yeah,
people don't realize that it's not that you're being kind to someone else, it's you're being kind to yourself because you're not
yeah.
making yourself deal with
Angry and
possible
violent. Yeah.
possible regret
Well,
later on for being mad at someone else and being mean to someone else. You know, if so long as you're like,
hmm,
"Hey, I'm happy. I'm enjoying my life and I'm not going to fuck you over today. Thank me very
yeah,
much."
yeah. Because like Woody's all violent on the internet. He was a fighter in his day and whatnot. But I don't look at him as a violent guy today. I just
Yeah.
think he's reliving. He likes to relive, have a few drinks, relive his past. And hell, everybody deserves to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't take him so seriously in the heart to where I can't talk to this guy. He's scary. No, actually, I just go, wow. In your day, you were probably a monster. You know, in my day, I was a mental monster. People didn't like to fuck with me or tell me no. That was a word you never wanted to say in front of me out loud. No.
Yeah.
I've changed. Now I can take no.
See?
It was my choice. Oh, well, it was my choice when I wouldn't take it. So now it's my choice when I go, hey, you know what? I don't want nobody telling me what to do, so I'm not going to tell them what to do. But I find myself get in defense and argumentative mode when somebody else wants to impose their will on me based on third-party problems that don't have me in them at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like big political topics like immigration and all this horse shit we've been sold over the years to believe is real. It's all bullshit. It's all in your fucking mind. There's nothing real about it until people point weapons at you and put handcuffs on you. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
And if you want that to be real for somebody else and not you, I think you got a problem. I think it should be a level playing field for everybody without all these lies and bullshit we're just inundated in daily. It's annoying. That's why I'm glad not to speak Danish or be able to read the fucking language because I don't know what they're saying. I don't even care.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
There you go. Abby, man, you can call me super stupid if you want to. I don't give a shit because what you think of me is really none of my fucking business anyway.
Yeah.
If you tell me that's your opinion. And fortunately, between the two of us, we've never said, hey, Mary, I think you're drinking too much, woman. You ought to back off that vodka. What's wrong with you? I would never do that to anybody.
Yeah.
But I would tell him this. Your value system is so fucked up that you don't know it's fucked up.
Mm. And that is the problem we have these days. Value
And I
system.
know,
People don't realize just how fucked up their fucked up
right,
system is.
I know, but see, I know it through my own experience
Yeah.
of using the system they're using and being grown out of it. Other people guided me. Look, you don't have to look at this all the time. There's other things. So I went, really? What else? And I went, oh, try this. Oh, so, But how many of us are there?
Yeah.
4 or 5% tops. I mean, even on Twitter, there's a ton of people that really seem to speak our language verbally, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got enough money or finance behind them to be on the internet talking about it. So, maybe that idea right there is what keeps the other people not from listening. They think they're just being sold another brand of shit. but there's nothing to sell you. Be responsible for yourself. Make the right choice. These are options you don't know you have. Mm.
Yeah.
But it's a whole lot easier to follow Donald Trump or Obama or Putin or whoever your fucking hero is. And I'm telling you this, he ain't going to think of you before he goes to sleep tonight.
True. True.
So, get your lotion out, sport, because it's going to be a long day.
Oh, I think they're all fodder for amusement, or at least that's the direction I come from anymore. Is you know what? I find you amusing, and even if it's not ha 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 amusing, it's just amusing that wow, you really think that. Whee!
Well,
That's wow.
right, and see, but do you see the argument? It's built in with an argument,
Yeah.
right from the gate, because you're messing with the way that we've been raised to believe shit. And wow, it's just such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Every time you make a hurdle, myself, every time I've made a hurdle, I just found another hurdle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it took me a few years to really, get a grip on just how much of a control society really thinks it's got on you and how you play into it through your own stupidity. And if you would just take 5 fucking minutes to stop and look at it and see it for what it really is, you can get out of it. That's what I did. And they've never bothered me since. Yeah.
There you go. Well, guess what? We are out of time.
And we ain't got no Rob Works to come in after us tonight. Oh.
No, we don't. But you know what?
Oh,
In a
well.
couple of hours, we got Kira coming on with the bridge.
Kira.
Yeah, and then this
you go.
evening, Bo Diddy will be on with some bodacious tunage to rock you into the night or roll you or blues you or whatever he's going to play. I hear he gets quite
Sock.
inventive. I don't always get to hear him, but
Hey, Biddy. They're
also
being nice to us.
I see that. Also, tomorrow at noon Eastern Time is Grimner bringing in the blues for you. And probably we will be playing trivia while he's playing the blues for you.
Yeah, I got sucked into that shit too. and I can't spell or type, so I'm double fucked. But
And I can't
tried.
read that fast, so they always get those things up before I even finish reading the question. Oh, well. Also, tomorrow afternoon, right after Grimner, is Hal Anthony with Behind the Woodshed, where he's going to open up a can of whoop-ass on yo ass. Tomorrow evening is Gary L. and Gigi's Boo with The Road Less Traveled. Yours truly will be back on Wednesday for the Wackadoodle Wednesday edition of Grammy's Rocket Chair. Flash Rooney Head will be back with me next weekend. No smoke and mirrors today, Grimmy. Apparently, Rob's Quasimodo is not